It is an exciting week here on the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen of every single day. I am your host, NESN's Lauren Willand, and today's episode of Locked On Red Sox is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. You can make every moment even more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. So it was a busy weekend for the Red Sox. They held their winter weekend for the first time in 3 years. COVID knocked out the last 2 years, and then last year, of course, was the MLB lockout. Jake and I will break down everything that happened over the weekend, from Chaim Bloom and John Henry and Sam Kennedy getting pretty much booed off the stage to injury updates from Trevor Story and Chris Sale. That is all coming later this week. But today's episode, we are so excited to welcome Taylor Broadway to the show. Taylor was the player to be named later in the Jake Diekman trade last year in 2022. We talk everything baseball. His journey is incredibly inspiring, what he's been working on this offseason, and everything in between. So we are so excited to bring you that conversation. Let's just get to it.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Red Sox is a very special one. We are here with Taylor Broadway, who was acquired by the Red Sox in the Jake Diekman trade this past season. So Taylor, how is everything? How's the offseason going for you as a member of the Red Sox?
It's been going great. I am actually currently in Houston, Texas right now, back home where I'm from, hanging out with my family, and been working out at a place with some former teammates and people that I kind of just started meeting now at this facility. And for most of the off season was actually out in Oxford, Mississippi, where I went to school and graduated from at Ole Miss, and enjoyed that there too. But just kind of hanging out here at home for right now and taking it in before we head out and get this going.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. Have you been working on anything specific, or just kind of getting yourself prepared for spring training?
Well, I'm a little bit of both, I would say. Just one, making sure the body gets what it needs and to stay healthy. I've actually been doing a little bit of Pilates lately with this crew we're doing, kind of a new thing that I haven't done before, but it seems to be, I think one thing for me, and I would say for most guys, would be trying to get as flexible as possible. And that's one thing, like my hip mobility and stuff like that, have worked on that to help me on the mound, essentially, being able to work down the mound and be able to be as flexible and powerful as possible while being on the mound and throwing a pitch. So as far as that, and just feel good, and arm feels great. So excited to see what happens.
Yeah, obviously having your arm feel great is very important and very, very good, especially after you ended the last season very strong with the Portland Sea Dogs. But before that, when you found out that you were going to be the player to be named later in that Jake Diekman trade, kind of take us through that and how that came to be and how you felt and how quickly you were on a plane to get to your next destination.
Yeah, so it's a crazy story. It was a lot that happened within, I want to say, 36 hours, something along those lines. But I'll be honest, I remember when the trade happened was at the deadline, and I remember that we had seen that it was a player to be named later, just between me and some other teammates of mine, that when I was in Birmingham with in the White Sox organization, and that kind of just by the time I was the player to be named later was named, we had kind of forgotten all about it. And so we were actually in Montgomery and had just played. So the way, the minor league weeks and season is like you play Tuesday through Sunday, Monday's an off day. So it was actually Tuesday. And we had just traveled up that day, have bags packed to stay in the hotel for that whole week. And we had just played a game, and I didn't throw in it or anything. And I had just moved into that locker room for the week to get settled. And the game was over, and I had showered, got into my street clothes, everything. And my manager came up and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you real quick. And, I just kind of didn't really have any clue what that could have been. Sometimes just like when you get called to the principal's office or something back in the day, I was like, okay, wait, what did I do wrong as he's walking me to his office? And so I walk in there and, pitching coach is in there, some other people, and he just kind of breaks the news to me and says, it's been awesome having you. But you were the player to be named later. And we essentially found out today. And so I went literally got back on, like packed up all my stuff in my locker that was when we were on the road there, got on the bus, went and stayed still at the hotel that night with the team, kind of got to hang out with my friend, some of those teammates that who knows if I, see some of them again. And pretty much drive or Uber back to Birmingham from Montgomery, move out of my apartment that they have provided for us, then get in my car, and I actually drove to Oxford, Mississippi. Then I think they gave me then the next so that was the next day. Then the next day after that, fly out from Memphis straight to New Hampshire to meet the team, to meet Portland, who was playing in New Hampshire at the time against the Fisher Cats.
Were you exhausted after that? That sounds just like sounded exhausting.
It kind of was. I know that was a long explanation, but yeah, it was probably once I finally got settled. I remember at the hotel because I rolled straight up to New Hampshire almost right before game time of that. Like it was a Thursday by then, or a Friday. And once I got to the hotel after the game, it was finally settled down and just laid in bed. You take a deep breath and you're just like, wow, you kind of, then everything starts setting in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And you've had quite the journey to baseball. I mean, you did not receive any college offers out of high school. Kind of take fans through how you came to be at the point you are now, and have you used any of your past as motivation throughout your journey?
For sure. I think definitely it tests you in anything, just like in life. There's going to be times where you get tested, and you almost have to take it upon yourself to believe in yourself and just say, this is the road. My road might not look normal, but this is where I want to be. And maybe it's going to take me taking a little different path. So I actually, out of high school, was actually enrolled into Texas State University and was about to pick out a dorm and was going to just go as a normal student. Kind of had, was a little bitter and just kind of was over baseball at one point, right after my senior year of high school, after I graduated. And my dad told me to go to this camp and give it one last chance. And it was for this post-grad program, which is called TCS Post-Grad. And they're located in Dallas, Texas. And I went to the camp. They ended up saying, hey, we want you to come play. I knew nothing about the program. It was actually they had just had their first year of being a program. And so long story short, end up saying, okay, I'll give this a chance. So I don't remember just de-enrolled or from Texas State and ended up going to this program. And it was in North Dallas in Dallas, Texas, and played there for that year. And basically you just are playing a junior college schedule. With some D2 and D3 universities you'll play as well, but you're basically just there to work on baseball. I took classes, but it didn't burn a year of eligibility. So, because I took under whatever the requirements is of being a full-time student. We weren't considered full-time students, and it was at a local community college. So thankfully for those guys, and I still am keep in touch with almost every single one of those coaches there because they gave me a chance, and now just the way the road has come, I just am very super, super thankful for them. And, just giving someone like me a chance and allowing me to figure out whatever it was to become, I think I was good at baseball. Don't get me wrong, but I just wasn't good yet and good enough yet, I would say. I just needed that extra year to kind of really grow, and I was a really small kid when I graduated. So then I ended up getting an offer to Tyler Junior College, which is in East Texas. and went and played there for 2 years. Got to win a national championship with them in my first year in 27. It was spring of 2017, and then in the fall of 2017, ended up committing to the University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss, and played spring of 18 at TJC my sophomore year, and then went to Ole Miss for what ended up being 3 years because of the COVID year. So I played my first year, which would be spring of 19. Then spring of 20 happened, and obviously that's the year that everything shut down halfway through the season or a quarter way through the season. So then I had graduated that year in 2020, and then had gained another year of eligibility from the NCAA, and so then played one more year in 21. Ultimately, get drafted by the White Sox, and the rest is kind of history so far. So it's a crazy long road, and it's not normal, but I think it's pretty cool and is something that I can kind of take with me, forever, and hopefully, bring light to other people that might get into the same situation I will, as they go through their career.
We'll get you right back to our conversation with Red Sox prospect Taylor Broadway just as soon as I tell you about FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here. What a wild, fun weekend of football action. We are really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they are the #1 sportsbook in America. That's FanDuel. And if you are new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. And take it from someone who is very new to betting. FanDuel makes it super, super easy and does not make you feel like a first-time bettor. And if you are a new customer, you can join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/locked-on. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Now, for me, the simpler the better when it comes to sports betting, especially as I'm new to this, kind of getting my feet wet in the betting world. I enjoy just betting on the money line. It's simple, and FanDuel, like I said, makes it so much easier for you to get in on the betting action. And all of this is on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, do not miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/locked-on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to check out Locked On MLB prospects for your second listen after making Locked On Red Sox your first listen. Host Lindsey Crosby, he is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, I was going to say it's inspiring too that, even though there was frustration and all these kinds of emotions going into your freshman year of college before you found the program. But, like you said, everyone's path is different. It wasn't a normal path per se, but this could serve as inspiration to somebody who will end up in your shoes one day where they don't get an offer and they maybe see their friends and getting offers and kind of wondering, well, I know I'm good enough and I know I have the talent to do it. You just needed, in your case, you said you just needed that one more year and you just needed
Correct.
someone to, take that chance on you, and you got that. So I think that's incredible. And it's clearly paid off. And just to kind of follow your journey as well. Now in Portland, you ended the season on quite a very strong note, 1.29 ERA, 11 strikeouts, no walks in 6 relief appearances, and opponents were almost unhittable against you, 4 for 23. Do you think anything from your program contributed to that success, or is it just continuing to build off, your journey and all the path you went through?
I think, I look at the, I guess, immediate success I had from the trade happening, and I've been questioned a few times, like, what did I do differently? Or not that I wasn't successful in my tenure with the White Sox and in Birmingham this past year. There was obviously just, they talked, a lot have asked about, because I gave up a lot of hits and so on and so on. And not like, I struggled at times, don't get me wrong, but I definitely had flashes of being really good. And so some people that asked me, then it seemed like, they were like, you got real dominant once you got to Portland. And it's funny when people ask me that, because it's like, I don't feel like I did anything differently. I think sometimes a change, it's kind of maybe a cliche saying, it's like a change of scenery. It can really go a long ways. And, it's not like I figured out some drastic new pitch that moves a crazy amount or started throwing 100 miles an hour. I was still essentially the same player and the same person, and just kind of maybe I felt a little more comfortable, or just things fell in the right place and the change of scenery was good for me. And then that's what I'm excited about to see how we go moving forward. But I think it was, something for the better. And just like you're saying, as how my road has been, kind of, I think it's prepared me for being all over these places and taking this kind of, jagged road that I had. It wasn't just a straight shot. That it prepared me for times like this. And don't get me wrong, I think still at times the trade was hard in moments, because you just get thrown out into a whole new area. I'm honestly have never been up that far northeast before. In Maine. I'm a Texas kid, born and raised. But I think like you say, my road and the way my career has paved out is prepared me for moments like that. And so, but it's been an awesome transition, and I'm very excited to be with the Red Sox. Had a great last, I guess a month and a half, 2 months with us going into playoffs, which is a really cool and awesome experience. I got to be a part of. Sadly, we ended up losing in the semis. But just and a great group of guys, a great group of coaches, and met some of the front office guys. Just it's a new place, and I'm super excited to see where this goes, and have actually a full season, and excited to get into spring with them and get to meet even more people, and and more coaches, and et cetera, and just get out to Fort Myers here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked to a few other people in the Portland system about just how welcoming everyone is, from the players to the coaches to the front office, and just how quickly it became kind of like a family mentality, like a big family, which, can kind of be a cliche too, but you don't hear that very often. I feel when you talk to several people and they're saying the same thing, where I'm like, clearly this is something special that they have going on. And we've had Katie Krall on the show last year, and people speak highly of her and just what she is able to bring to the players. Have you worked directly with her? Is there anything you can kind of tell us about her and just how awesome she's been for this team?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I guess like I said, I wasn't there very long, but for the time I was there, definitely felt that she made an impact, and it was really cool to see like a different perspective of how she looks at things. And I got to work with her in a little bit with the technology and with the analytics, which she was really good at, and she understood really well. If I had any questions based on, I don't know, if I wanted to look at some film or anything like that, she was, that was something she was really good at. And I just thought it was really cool to be a part of that, and to have her there, and I'm just, excited to see what she gets to do, moving forward as well.
Yeah, the way she talks about analytics, it makes it so easy to understand. I'm not a numbers person. Math is just not my thing. And listening to her, I'm like, wow, I actually understand like the analytics and the launch angles and this and that, and like the deeper analytics, as opposed to just like the ERAs and the RBI kind of analytics of the game.
Correct. And whenever I remember like the first day or two that I got there in New Hampshire, I went and sat like with her and the pitching coach in the office, and just the way she, like you're saying, the way she was able to break things down. For example, they had some different ways they read analytics compared to how it was read with the White Sox, and just immediately kind of, took me under her wing and said, this is how we do it. And then was able to explain it, more in some, I guess you would say, simpler terms for somebody who may not understand it quite yet,
Yep. Someone like me, definitely. One of your pitches that is kind of like a work in progress is your changeup. Have you been working on that this off season? Do you kind of plan to use it more in 2023, or is it kind of a surprise?
No, I definitely have been working on it this offseason. It's definitely a pitch that I want to implement more. And I think as the season went on, and probably if we really crunch numbers, you could see from probably All-Star break on last season, I started trying to use it more. Um, just I think it's something that can really help me in the long run. And realistically, I could throw 4 pitches for a strike, and I just think the more you add to the arsenal is going to be it's going to be even harder for those hitters to be able to hit you. And so I have been working on it and trying to perfect it, and um, hopefully it's something I can really put into my arsenal and have become a very effective pitch, and I possibly use it to both lefties and righties.
Yeah, and this kind of goes hand in hand with this question, but what are some of your goals for the 2023 season and spring training even?
Well, one, I mean, going into spring training, just getting in and getting comfortable, getting to meet everybody. Um, but as well as just being myself and make a statement is one. Secondly, be healthy. That's one of my biggest goals, because the more you can be on the field, the more they're going to see you, and the more chances you're going to have. So I take that as a big emphasis, and taking care of myself in the off season. And ultimately, just I guess one of my big goals would be continue. I think one of my big goals, like to get real down into it, is to continue what I did last season, but maybe being able to knock down the amount of hits I gave up or give up, and but still be able to have that command where I obviously don't walk a lot of guys, strike out a bunch of people, and carry that on. And maybe that's the changeup getting better and being added into my pitch repertoire, or whether I just do something differently that we figure out. But I think had a great season last year, and looking forward to this season. Hopefully, ultimately, can one day get to the big leagues, and that's the ultimate goal in the end. And well, possibly winning a World Series with this organization now. So.
Yeah, those are great goals, and we're excited to see what the season brings you and the Sea Dogs as a whole, and hopefully get to see you in Worcester as well. I'm pretty local to Worcester. I'm always at those games, and Portland's only like 2 hours from me, so very easy, very accessible parts
Yeah,
to get
everything's
to.
kind of in the same area up there. It's
Yes.
it's not too far.
No, it's awesome. I love Portland. I went there last year, go there pretty much every summer. Food is really good there. So if you ever need food recs, let me know, because food is
I got to have a lobster. I think I had a lobster roll or two. So
perfect. You got the New England
yeah,
experience.
it was cool. But like I said, got to hang out with a lot of the guys. Some of our off days, and they were very welcoming, and just very happy to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, that's what we love to hear. And for anyone who's looking to kind of support you, can they find you on social media, or where can they find you?
Yeah, I got Instagram, Twitter, have a TikTok. Don't really, be honest, don't really use it, but I'm
Same.
more so just watching videos on there. But have an Instagram and Twitter. I think my Instagram's at Taylor_Broadway 0707, and Twitter is at Taylor_Broadway.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Locked On Red Sox today. We're so excited for the season to start. It'll be here before we know it. And hopefully we can talk to you during the season.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. And thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed this special episode of Locked On Red Sox with Taylor Broadway, the player to be named later in the Jake Diekman trade last season. We just want to thank Taylor again for his time and taking time out of his busy schedule to talk to us on Locked On Red Sox. We greatly appreciate it. His story is very inspiring, and I'm sure it will inspire many others out there. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Red Sox right here on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Wherever you get your podcast is where you can find us. You can also find us on Twitter at LO_Red Sox. Jake at Jake Iggy, and me, La 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 Lauren, 3 Laws, Lauren with 4 R's. And don't forget to check out all the other shows across the Locked On Network, Locked On Yankees, Locked On Phillies. Everyone does such a great job bringing you baseball content in the off season. And now that you've made Locked On Red Sox your first listen, head on over to Locked On MLB Prospects to make it listen number 2. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia. We know from experience. We have had him on the show several times. He knows what he's talking about. He goes deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you can get your podcasts, just like Locked On Red Sox. Be sure to check back later this week. We are going to talk about winter weekend and everything that happened. And it was a crazy weekend in Springfield for the front office, for the players, for the fans in attendance. It was a good time had by all, probably a better time had by those in attendance than those in the Red Sox front office. But we'll break everything down for you later this week on another episode of Locked On Red Sox. And until then, we'll end this show how we always do. Let's go Red Sox.